My name's Dave Dubeau, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on this show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content. Hey, welcome back everybody. Dave Dubeau here, and let me ask you a question. Have you ever struggled with your mindset? Have you ever found yourself over analyzing things or maybe even screwing things up for yourself with a little bit of self-sabotage? Well, if you have, you're in good company. I've struggled with that. Lots of people, everybody struggles with that to one degree or the other. But our special guest today, zooming in all the way from beautiful Richmond, Virginia, is Phillip Tai. And Phillip is a very accomplished real estate entrepreneur, and he has really worked through some of these issues himself with some help from his friends. And today we're going to dive into Phillip's kind of secret sauce, which is sharpening the mindset when it comes to real estate investing. So Phil, welcome to the call.
Hey, thank you so much, Dave, for having me on the call. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. All right. So let's talk quickly about the Phil backstory. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what got you into real estate investing. And if we can just have the Coles Notes version of your journey so far, that would be awesome.
Of course. So just a quick snippet of my background. I come from an immigrant family, grew up in a group home. Fast forward, went to college, didn't know what I wanted to do. So I joined the military, the Marine Corps. And fast forward a little further ahead. I actually didn't explain this to you, Dave, so this is going to be a surprise to you. I actually got caught distribution and possession of a controlled substance. So I'm actually a convicted felon. So all the felons out there, there you go.
That is a bombshell revelation. But you know what?
Yeah.
I think everybody deserves second chances. So
yeah,
man.
That's why I live in one of the greatest countries on the earth, the United States. There's always opportunity here. And you don't really know until you actually go through these trials and tribulations through life. So that was my first milestone of like negative mindset that I kind of came across. But I kind of overcame that through the community of jiu-jitsu. I do jiu-jitsu in my off time. It's one of my favorite things to do. I'm a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and I teach also as well. So fast forward a little future, I got a college degree in software engineering, got my first job paying pretty well. And then I realized coming into work one day that I was going to be working for the same person or boss per se for the next 40 years or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't happy with that. And so I decided to do some Googling and found real estate as one of the examples of financial freedoms. And so one thing led to another. I joined a mentorship program that cost about $35,000. And then I just started my real estate investing journey that way. And next thing you know, what I was doing, fixing and flipping, wholesaling, buying rentals, commercial properties, part of a partnership of a 41 unit down in Outer Banks. And then now I'm doing lending. So I've been doing quite a bit during that whole time that I was in real estate investing. So yeah, that's a little bit of backstory.
Well, that is a very condensed version. You have packed a lot into your life so far, my friend. That's for sure. So was the whole felony conviction while you were in the Marines or after you got out of the Marines, or is that why you had to get out of the Marines?
So I got kicked out of the Marine Corps. I was like actually on my last probably 2 months, maybe month left of my service until I would have gotten that, all clear green light to go do my own thing. But I look at that time as a blessing. Yeah. And I did get
in hindsight out. At the moment, maybe not, right?
Yeah. And I had a lot of dark times. Coming from an immigrant background with the Asian culture, we're not quote unquote allowed to fail. And if you fail, it's like really like a hush hush, just like really shameful experience. And there's a lot of guilt, shame, and all the other dark emotions that kind of go about it. And it put me in a dark hole. And so everybody around me couldn't relate, right? And so I felt like I was alone. And and so that's how I got kicked out. And but also later down the road, that's when the military charges hit the civilian charges, and that's when it kind of entered into my civilian record.
Right.
So
Yeah, well, that is definitely a life altering experience. I'm really
yeah,
glad that shook you up and woke you up and
yeah,
kind of set you on the right track along with martial arts.
yeah,
Sure, the combination of those two was huge, and then the whole
right.
personal discipline side of things. Jujitsu is not fooling around, so getting a black belt and that is very very impressive. Um, so then walk me through what kind of, because you've done a lot in real estate in a pretty short period of time.
Right.
Doesn't sound like on the surface you had too many mental hiccups or challenges
Yeah,
along the way, but you actually did. You said that you struggle with analysis paralysis and
yeah.
kind of screwing things up for yourself, self-sabotage as you're going along. So maybe explain to us how that came about, and then what did you do or how did you overcome those
Hmm.
situations, those mental challenges?
Yeah, most definitely. So the beginning of the of my investment career, just learning everything, because when you start real estate, you're drinking from a fire hose more than
Yeah,
anything.
especially when you invest 35 grand in one of these heavy duty programs. Yeah, man.
Yeah, and so I mean, I would go to work, my 9 to 5, and then come back home and just study through the late night hours until midnight, or go to a meetup event where I'm networking. And because I understood during this mentorship, they're telling you go network. Your network is your net worth. And so I really took that like instructions with like to heart. And so
Yeah.
I did what they told me to do. And I mean, you're burning these like hours on end, and people don't understand, like your family doesn't understand, and everybody around you, they don't understand. So there is burnout. And so when I have these moments of like burnout or over analysis situation, I don't look more deeply inside of myself. I actually go look out for a little bit to get motivation, so
Hmm.
I can get past this little hiccup that I'm having.
Is
A good example.
is it feel is does it feel like you're just overwhelmed with too much information all at once, and it's kind of like, what do I do with it, or where do I go first, or what do I do first? Is that what you're feeling, or was it something
No,
different?
I was actually feeling the information was there, but it was more like feeling of like emotionally stressed. There wasn't an outlet for me to like kind of let the steam kind of come off the pot per se, right?
Go
Um
punch and kick somebody in jujitsu, or get punched and kicked.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, there is a time and place where I did use a lot of jujitsu, and I had time where I was feeling stressed and let that thing go. But like, I think it's more like the burning out, like you're
Yeah.
burning both ends of the candles like really fast. And what kind of how I got through that particular portion of my life was actually listening to Grant Cardone. He said
Mhm.
this really cool, not really cool, but like this motivational speech is like, you're not a candle, you don't burn out. And that was what really got me through those little dark nights, because I like really embodied that.
Mhm.
I was having this story playing in my head that I'm feeling burnt out, like I don't want to do this, like this negative talk, right? Because everybody
Mhm.
experiences negative talk. I call that the bad roommate or the horrible roommate, right? And that lives inside your head.
Mhm.
And uh, later down the road is kind of how I fixed that little mentality, is having a partner that was in the consciousness space for the last 8 years, working on his inner work stuff. But I want to give a quick little like potential fix for that. I used to, I mean, I still do that now. I write down my stories that I come across my head, but you have to be very conscious of like what comes across your head and be able to
Mhm.
see what comes across your head in order for you to write it down. And then you look at that particular uh that little sentence or statement that you wrote down, and you put real eyes on it. You're like, is that real, or is that just something that my mind conjured up and being
If I were
dramatic?
reading this that somebody else had written this down, would
Yeah,
I call bullshit or not? Right?
exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
Smart.
So that's a great little exercise that I do when when I have whenever I come across like a negative feedback that I'm having in my head.
Yeah.
um, and I think a lot of it too as well, I've been able to journal, right,
Mhm.
on the reflections of my day and my thoughts and how I'm feeling. I know that may not be, as an entrepreneur, you don't quote unquote have time to do all that stuff per se, but I think it's very healthy because that inner development as a just a person and understanding yourself will help you exponentially in your deal making skills.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Interesting stuff, Phil. So I'm just curious because I've never been in the military.
Yeah.
My father was a military guy a bit. And just what I've seen, I know folks who have been in the military, and a few of them were Marines.
Sure.
That is a heavy, like your basic training is pretty heavy duty for the average person. So the amount of mental and physical stress they put you through
Yeah.
to try to break you and to see test your limits and show you how much further you can actually go than you think you can. Have you looked back on that and applied that to your real estate investing and your entrepreneurial journey as well? Like when you're feeling burnt out, the candle's
Mhm.
burning at both ends. You kind of think back, well, compared to basic training and to become a Marine, this ain't that bad, or anything like that, because it's pretty.
Yeah.
You've gone through some intense stuff in your past.
Yeah. Funny enough, I think not to like talk bad about the training, but I thought it wasn't too hard, honestly speaking.
Okay.
Because here's the thing, my mom, I mean, we grew up, poor in a group home, and so my mom was a disciplinary individual. My parents were divorced, so my mom would have this rigorous routine of telling us like when to clean, how we clean, like very strict military type lifestyle. So I was already kind of used to that. And
Your mom had whipped you into shape already.
yeah, yeah, she was the disciplinary, and I mean, going to boot camp was pretty well. It was easy for me. I wasn't
Okay,
like stressing over it, basically.
fair enough.
Um, but I think I've always been like a workhorse. I've always wanted to work. I started working when I was 16 and just continued to work since then because I was like really trying to be independent. But I think the hardest thing that I've gone through is the mindset development. I think it was harder in through the way harder in the military because my partner has helped me through that transition of life is getting over to the other side. I mean,
Mhm.
before speaking to you, before you even knew me, like I had like a speech problem. Like I couldn't really talk very well or communicate my words very well. I would stutter, stammer, and
Well, you'd never know that listening to you now. You're
yeah,
very well spoken.
it takes a lot of work, I would say, and not a lot of people will see that work, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, well, no, well done. And so with your personal development, like I can understand how you were feeling burnt out, burning the candle at both ends. You're
sure.
working all day long, you're coming home having a bite to eat, then you're hitting the books and you're studying till midnight, then
Yep.
getting up the next day and doing that and networking and schmoozing, all that stuff. So you got the motivational rah rah from Cardone, which is great, but for most people that doesn't last very long, and then
Yep.
they start feeling burnt out again.
Hmm.
What? So you'd write down the stories that come across your head. Were there any other things that you did just to kind of enable yourself to buckle down and do the work that was needed?
Yeah, most definitely. So when I started my real estate investment journey, I had a very important reason on why I wanted to do it.
Hmm.
But the more important reason why I wanted to do it was my why. And my why was that I wanted to become financially free by 35. I'm 33 right now.
Mhm.
The reason why I want to become financially free by 35 is because I want to start a family
Hmm.
by 35. And so I had this goal, this why when I was 27. And so that's what pushed me through those tough situations in life, right? Because I know growing up, my family was not the most functional family.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people come from dysfunctional families because it's a very generational disease. It's passed down by one family to another without you actually knowing it's dysfunctional because then a lot of trauma happens from it, a lot of behaviors and attitude, mindset issues come from your family, whether you know it or not. And so a lot of people don't know why they do things the way they do it. So, I mean, a good book about this is ACA, Adult Children of Alcoholics / Dysfunctional Families. Mm-hmm. And I've been going through some of that right now, and going through a group of guys that we talk about our childhood and how it relates to our personal adult life and where things show up, behaviors, your mannerisms, your attitude, your mindset, your ego. So when you understand where things come from, you can fundamentally change it within yourself.
No, that's very well said, and not a bad idea to have that goal to become financially independent by the time you're 35, so that when you do have a family, you've got the time and energy to focus on doing things differently than what your parents knew how to do, right? So you're very aware of what not to do or what you could improve on. And you also understand that you're left to your natural tendencies. You would probably repeat a lot of the mistakes that your parents did. So you've been working on yourself there.
Yeah.
And the goal is to, hey, when I have it sounds to me anyhow, like when I settle down, have a family, I'm going to take this super seriously. And I want to be able to focus most of my energy on that and not have to worry about paying the bills. Is it, exactly. Am I understanding? Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. No, that's really smart, Phil. I know the multi-generational screw ups. I can look back at my own family and see that, like, my father's relationship with his father was terrible. He became an alcoholic. My dad did.
Yeah.
He got sober before I was born, but that caused a lot of trauma. But the trauma his father had gone through as a kid passed on to my dad. So, can't say I haven't screwed my kids up a bit, but I was very, I was very conscious of a lot of these things with my own kids. So I know that I made it, and my brother as well. We both made concerted efforts to use our father as an example of what not to do in many cases versus what to do. So yeah, hats off to you for recognizing that and making that a priority.
Yeah. I mean, what are we here for, right? We're not here to really make money. It's just like I guess a substitute of freedom for time, right? So
yeah,
as soon as I get that out of the way, I want to do the things that fulfill me, helping people and giving back to my children, or just making them the best possible humans as I can, so they can help other people too as well. And I don't see why that shouldn't be everybody's goal if they want it to be, of course. So yeah, I think that's what I'm here to shoot for.
Well, this got really deep real fast, my friend, and got off the real estate track, which is perfectly fine. No, this is good. So, hey, Phil, if people would like to connect with you and get more Phillip Tai, how can they do that? Where should they go? What should they do?
Yeah. If you can find me on Instagram at Phillip Tai, or TikTok, there's Phillip Tai, or my YouTube channel, Phillip Tai. Happy to talk to you guys. DM me, shoot me a message. Happy to help where I can.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for being on the show. This has been a lot of fun.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dave, for having me.
All right, everybody, take care. We'll see you on the next one. Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on this show, then just head over to daveinterviewyou.com. Now at moneypartnerformula.com, we help real estate investors to create a process for predictably getting capital so they can do more deals without relying on hard money lenders or the banks. We do this by building them a private capital marketing system. Now, if you want help turning yourself into a big money capital attraction machine, then book a call with our team to see how we can help. Just visit moneypartnerformula.com to find out more. All right, take care, and we'll see you on the next interview.